Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey-o.
Hey-o. There, you liven up as the day progresses.
It is. I just need to get acclimated to the whole podcasting.
You need to train. There's a significant difference between untrained Joe and trained Joe.
That too. Maybe I just need to talk to myself too a little while.
All right, and we have Ryan Caswell, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. How are y'all today?
Cool. Good. Really glad to have you on the podcast. We're going to dive into a lot of different things, but not before we let you do an intro, man. So tell us, who you are, what you do, and how you train.
All right. Well, my name's Ryan Caswell. I live in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm 35 years old. Fortunate to have married out of my league, and she continues to have poor vision and low standards. So I'm not going to tell her otherwise. We have two beautiful daughters. They're 12 and 9. And they are a huge part of why, I like to train at home, because I get to spend a lot of time with them. Outside of that, for work, I work in ship repair. So we are on Navy ships, predominantly in the Norfolk, Virginia area, but we go all over the world, kind of wherever the bases are, wherever the shipyards are. So
that's awesome, man. So like what kind of ship repair? Like anything and everything that can break on a ship, or?
Fortunately, no. We stick to system flushes. So a lot of the main engines, the gear reductions, anything that's fluid remediation that essentially we got to just tie into mechanically, clean the system, the fluid, the tanks, and then get out of there so the ship can deploy.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, probably run into Joe's wife at some point.
High five on the way out.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, let's hop into weather first, because I'm not super familiar with the Virginia area. Joe probably is a little bit more familiar than I am, but that's somewhere I haven't spent a lot of time. So what's the weather like winter and summer in Virginia?
So we'll get every season. You'll get every season out here. On a scale, though, you'll probably won't exceed a 7 out of 10 as far as how worse it can get. But it'll get cold enough to get into the single digits every now and again. It'll get hot to get into the triple digits in the dead of summer. Humidity can be an ache. And we have a lovely pollen season that just coats everything with yellow.
Nice, yeah.
But outside of that, it's not too bad. It's not going to be the extremes that you'll get down in Texas, or the colds that you'll get up in, way up north. It's just bad enough on everything, but also great enough on everything where you can really enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, probably plenty of good weather, right? Like mild or moderate, like in between all the cold and the heat.
Yeah, fall is probably the best for weather. Springtime, the weather's all right, but it rains for a month straight, and everything. We don't have the budget in the city to combat all the flooding, but you sort it out. A lot of people have kayaks, so
nice. Well, awesome, man. Well, that gives us some perspective. You're actually in your garage. I love it when we get to do these interviews and the athletes in the garage. We can see a little bit of the setup. So what is your garage gym setup and equipment look like?
Yeah, well, I'll take a quick around here. We got just a power rack. Nothing too much there. I got the Marcy cheap Airdyne. I got a stamina rower that tells me I've done things 5 times more than a Concept 2, which is challenging for some of these workouts. I got some gymnastic rings, weight vests, some weighted ropes, Bulgarian bag, another bag I made, some kettlebells, parallettes. I used to have that Ivan Drago climber, but that thing kind of sat and collected dust. But yeah, that one was pretty cool. But it's just you have to really be ready to get on that thing and not enjoy life at the time. So
that's a pretty good setup, man. And so the rower, so like a 2K, you'll do it in like 3 minutes. It's just like
clearly, yeah.
The reporting's a little bit off on that one.
No, it'll actually take me longer. So
the other way around. Okay.
Yeah. So when we do all the conditioning to the grave, like I'm dying each and every time. I did the first time I did the conditioning to the grave and the 100 calories. I'm looking at this thing at 17 minutes in, wondering when the heck I'm going to get beyond the rower. And something's clearly wrong here. I'm that way out of shape that I didn't anticipate. And then I get on a concept 2 a couple months later, and I did the hundreds in like 5 minutes. So
that sucks.
I was really hating life for those few months. And I
stuck in a time vortex.
This was terrible. It was terrible news.
You probably thought that we were all like robots.
I thought y'all were eating a lot of those broccoli and blueberries that y'all keep talking about. So I figured I had to get onto something.
What are these cyborgs?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know what was going on.
Well, that's the pros and cons of just us in programming, having to try and like master that to the equipment level. Joe, I think you found it pretty accurate when like Apple Watch seems to report row calories pretty well. Isn't that?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I did when I was wearing that, because it tells you the calories, and it was within like 4 or 5, and I think I did like 100 or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like. I wonder if you had an Apple Watch and you were on that rower, if that would be a better equation. You know what I mean?
Or I can just try to get a concept 2 rower.
Yeah, there's that too.
That's the ultimate
the ultimate goal. Just
yeah.
Try to go for that instead of the watch. I was wearing a Fitbit for a while, and that was great just for a metric. I knew it wasn't the most accurate, but for the longest while, it was something that would at least give me something to reference over the course of a training period, and then multiple times over. And then when that started to bite the dust, I was like, I'm just not going to wear a watch anymore. See how I go off perceived effort.
Yeah, and it's
good to do that every once in a while.
Yeah. I cycle through as well. I'm like, I get so sick of tracking everything. Sometimes I'm just like, all right, Timex Ironman, like this, you're it for the next 6 months. So what was it? You mentioned your girls being a big reason behind starting a garage gym. Was there anything else? Give me a little bit more of your background and how you got into the garage. What was that?
So, coming out of high school, in high school, I wrestled, played lacrosse,
another lacrosse player.
Yeah, I hear you over there. I see you. Yeah, I need to get into that adult league myself when I can. But so I was a big athlete in high school, and then the glory days stopped after that. I went straight to work and started just plowing through early adulthood, and then I met my wife, and we had a family, and I gained more weight than she did. Just being the good husband, I would eat on my schedule and hers, and supportive. Being supportive. And she lost the weight instantly, and I did not. So I had to start doing something. And it first started off with a lot of the home videos, P90X, Insanity, finding a park close by, just trying to get in pull-ups. And the kids would come out and see me doing that. And they would start to come in and start to be active and want to play sports. So then that kind of pushed me a little bit. All right, well, now they see me do this. Now I need them to see me do other things, which has, for the longest while, I was very minimalist. It was just whatever I can find a park. I got away from the DVDs, and which I was doing in my garage, winter, summer, all that time. But I wanted to get outside more and have them be with me so they can play while I was working out. And then I got bored of that. And I wanted to start getting some barbell work in. I wanted to start getting in some other type of equipment in that I just neglected since high school. And it's been a pretty big boost, because now I'm able to toss my 9-year-old competition cheerleader into the air, who wants to be lifted up over my head every single 5 seconds and down and tossed again. And same thing with my gymnast. I try to help her with her flips. And even though I should probably not be flipping at 35 years old, it's, I now have the potential to achieve that with her.
Potential. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I am ready and capable. That's awesome, man. And so, I like to, it's funny, going back to my first unofficial garage gym, or like, I'd say more unorthodox space, was like, 2008 or 9 time frame. There was once a week. So I was very much still going to like a Globo gym at that time, but I would go to this park once a week. And this is kind of really where the transition of everything started for me. And they had these logs in the park, and I would just like go flip these logs over and over again. There was no plan. Like, it was just, I'm going to flip these until I'm too tired to do it anymore, and then I'll go home. And so that would normally be a good workout. So I want to hear a little bit more about the P90X days and kind of doing, that kind of stuff. Like, how did you like it? Where do you feel like it wasn't fun anymore? So on and so forth.
I enjoyed it for the sense that I was getting my butt kicked doing it. And, just kind of the masochistic style of mentality you need to be for wrestling and lacrosse. You kind of appreciate those butt whoopings when you get them. And, it was great the first time or two you go through the DVDs, but then when you're on your third round trying to do the same thing over again, you're all right. Well, now I need to find another set of DVDs. So that's went from P90X to Insanity. Insanity was great because I didn't need any equipment, and I got really great results with that. I lost like 40 pounds in the 2 months to do it, and I was eating our grocery bill, skyrocketed, and then just because of all the carbs I was eating just to try the energy to do it. From there, it was enjoyable. Like I said, just the first 2 rounds of it. And then after that, I needed something. Oh no, delete that. Something else to do. Going to the park, like you were doing, finding a rock or finding a log, anything you do to make that run more challenging, or, oh, hey, there's a hill. Let's see how fast I can sprint that. And, it was just something different. I was always looking for something different. And I admittedly used to have I'd see a new shiny workout or exercise thing, and I have to jump to that because I'm getting tired of what I was doing already. That has since calmed down, thankfully, in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Since I started here.
Yeah. How did that, we have athletes who sign up and still have that problem. So how are you calming that shiny object syndrome down? It's a hard thing to do for a lot of people.
It is hard. I still have other things that I'd like to accomplish, but I'm able to build them into what y'all's programming has allotted. And I try to be smart about it. And I've also, started and failed and restarted and refailed a number of things. It finally just got to the point where, I just had to tell myself, all right, calm down, just stick with you've done one program before and through completion and found success. Do that again. Just what I'm currently doing. The things that, I still like to do is just more just general activity. I don't need to go out and try another program, because this program here has a number of different avenues for me to train with. And I'm trying things every week that I have not done in years. And that's kind of the exciting part.
And what are these other things that you, maybe getting into the goals and things that you're after? What are these other things that you're building into the programming and looking to achieve?
Well, one of the things I just accomplished, you guys just got done with your beast out in Carolina. The month before, I'd just done my first super in Arrington, Virginia, and I'd never done anything like that before in my life, and that was a pretty big accomplishment for me.
How'd you like it?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I fully anticipated having my worst day of 900 burpees and just hating life, being one of the last people. But I was very lucky, I'll say, in I ran a clean race, didn't fail a single obstacle, and I got in the 40s out of 3,000 people. And
pretty significant.
Color me surprised as well there, Joe. But outside of starting that because I would like to start, continue doing those races. Outside of that, some of the things that I want to achieve is really just other exercises, like getting a planche or getting a consistent muscle up, or being able to walk on my hands for, really just monkeying around and not hurting. Like I don't really need to do anything else. It's just enjoy the process.
Yeah, those things are fun. New physical activity keeps your mind engaged as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So,
Exactly.
how do you like training in your garage? What has the experience been like for you?
Well, I get to pick my music. I get to pick how hot or cold I want it. To a degree, I guess, depending on what.
I think that's picked for you. Mother Nature might have
that's picked for me. The music. I don't really have to wait in line. Whenever I travel, I do a lot of traveling for work, so I have to. Hopefully, I have a couple of different gym memberships in other states that I found cheap enough that'll allow me to do this. It's a pain in the keister to have to wait for somebody to get off the only squat rack that's there, or to, I need those kettlebells because look, I'm on a time crunch here, man. I got blocks to hit, and you guys are over there, posting for the gram, and that sucks. So having the ability to not have to deal with anybody in my own garage is a fantastic thing, outside of when the family needs me and I got to stop short real quick to go kill a roach or something.
Yeah, it happens. That's our job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. I'm interested to dive into this a little bit more now because it seems like you've had a very kind of like diverse training history over the last couple of years. So what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Well, I remember somebody else had mentioned this, and I've had a lot of hardest workouts I've ever done throughout, my life. When I was first getting into wrestling, I've never had to impose my will against another person trying to do the same exact thing against me. Same thing. And Joe, you might relate, but being a face-off midi, kind of a similar thing. You just got to figure out a way to fight through all that. So those high school workouts were just a terrible time. And then getting older and then out of shape, back into the P90X and Insanity days, there's a workout on one of the Insanity workouts that just destroyed me. It's just plyo everything. And for 48 minutes straight of plyo of your entire person, that's just a terrible way to spend 48 minutes. I think most recently, the hardest thing I've done as a workout is probably that Condition Me to the Grave. Just a workout.
Your version?
Yeah, my version. Yeah, when I triple everything just to make numbers. No, by itself, as prescribed, is also terrible. The Condition Me to the Grave is probably the most recent workout that's been terrible. I've had my own things where I've made stuff up first getting into garage workouts and felt like I was going to keel over, but those are just, there's no rhyme or reason for any of those.
Yeah, it's just, it looked good on the whiteboard, or it looks like you might have some flip charts. Is that what I see back there?
Yeah, there's a couple of things there. There's a planche progression currently up there. And then some of the other pages have my terrible or progressing Murph times.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I finally got into the 40s this last go round, and probably a month ago, and then Joe deemed it so that henceforth everything shall be 40 or less. So thanks.
Well, that's intense, man. That's awesome. Where did you start with your Murph time?
That's a silly question there.
It's good to get a frame of reference because you could have some huge progress,
No, it was. I think the very first one I did was an hour and like 5 minutes or something like that.
Nice.
And So, and that was I was very humble. That was a good little gut check. How difficult that workout was. I'd never done that before. It was this spring was actually the first time I'd ever tried it.
That's awesome, man. And,
sounds about right. I think with that workout, people aren't comfortable constantly moving and being uncomfortable with that workout. So like squats, I know it would take a ton more time the first couple times I did it until you just listen to Jared and say, go faster and do your squats fast. And then it's like, oh, hey, I just lost like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. Just go faster, man. That's all you got to do. And
yeah, I mean, and that, I mean, I'm trying to think going back to my first ever Murph times, and I think that they were high 50s, like 58 minutes, 57 minutes, something like that. Like it's conditioning yourself to the workout is one thing, but it is just like a realization at some point of like asking yourself that question over and over. Do I need to stop moving? Do I need to move this slow? And just keep answering that. And eventually the answer will be yes. Be like, yeah, I cannot move any faster than this right now. And then, over time that gets faster and faster. But I think your starting point and where you're at now is phenomenal progress in the time that it's been. That's good work there, man.
Good training.
All right. So in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
It's paying attention. Well, for building mental toughness, really just trying to have the patience to stick with it. If you find yourself constantly wanting to fail or wanting to quit and then choosing to quit, that you're just going to spiral down. But if you can fight through that and, every little small decision that doesn't seem comfortable, you want to make because it's the right decision, that'll eventually build to a, tougher mentality, a tougher mindset, and you'll be able to work through a lot of those challenges. It just spirals out. You can become mentally tougher after that.
That's awesome. Now, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be? Everybody, the barbells and the kettlebells, and I really like rings because I can get a lot of good workouts out of there. But I think if I'd only choose one, I got a few different weighted jump ropes from quarter pound all the way up to 3 pounds. A 1 pound jump rope, I think would last me a very long while. I'm able to do a lot of stuff with a 1 pound jump rope, double unders, and just going for an hour, and I'll keep you in shape. Do you have the ones from Crossrope?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, those are the ones I have. I don't remember the weights on it, but I had that big, thick yellow one. Is the one I have. I mean, that's my iteration. I got them several years ago, but yeah, it's a different, like, because I can do double unders all day with like a light jump rope, and that no doubt that's a good workout. But you add that weighted jump rope, that big thick one, man, that's serious.
Yeah,
it's a good.
Yeah, I was able to. I can't do it anymore. I'd gotten, because I was trying to see how many double unders in a row I can do with each rope, and I got into like the 300s with the quarter pound. Then I got a little over 100 with the 1 pound.
Dang.
The 2 pound I got like, I don't know, 11. And then 3 pound, and then the 3 pound I just kept whipping myself. So, but it was it's a good workout, man. You can build a lot of total body fitness with just a jump rope, just a regular jump rope, and then you start adding that weight to it, and it changes the game.
Yeah, man. 300 double unders in a row with any kind of jump rope is impressive.
Yeah.
That when you add the in a row stipulation, so that's you're like a double under.
My forearms are cramping right now thinking about it.
I like to point out the key word in that was I used to could do all that. I can't do that anymore. I cannot currently do that right now. I can string a good bit of double unders on the small rope right now, but not like when I was doing that pretty heavily.
Now I want to ask real quick, what do you think the biggest struggle is in being a garage gym athlete for you?
Well, for one, the travel. So I'm not always home. This year is the first year that I've been home more than, I'd say, 6 months. And, we're just private. We're just civilian contractors. So it's not like we have there's no set deployment or anything like that. But a lot of the frequent travel and trying to still find a place to train in Japan, they don't have gyms the same way we do over here. Because, I'm not in the military, so I can't just go on base and use their gym unless I sneak in. But they kind of know that I'm not, in the military.
And those armed guards are like, they really hate the sneaking in.
They're not fond of it. They only ask you nicely sometimes.
Right.
That's the biggest challenge. Travel. When I'm home, I'm in here every night. 6 nights out of the 7 nights. You got to train at night too, because everybody needs, help in the morning.
So with travel being the biggest struggle, you mentioned you keep around some like cheaper, probably like nationwide chain memberships or whatever where you can go. Is that kind of the solution for you when you do travel, like trying to pop into gyms, or is it body weight workouts? Like what is it because I know a lot of people listening to this travel all the time.
Yeah. So actually I've lucked out. They're not nationwide chains. These are little mom and pop gyms that, I've just slipped a 20 to the owner and they're like, yeah, here's a key card for 2 weeks. Awesome. Thanks. There's one down in, and that's up in Marinette, Wisconsin. There's one down in Mayport. When we go down there, I don't think it's a chain. I just think they just opened up and it's $10 a month for 24-hour access. So here's that, take that for a year. They're not, it takes a lot of searching. You gotta, be patient with it because working on the Navy ships, we typically do 12 hours a day. So a lot of gyms aren't open,
right,
with all the equipment that we want to use. So you really, if you can't find a gym, the bodyweight tracks, I've used the bodyweight tracks a lot in Japan. Just going outside and find a pull-up bar, just find a park, something to keep moving. And then if not, do them prison workouts in your hotel room, burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, wall presses, anything you can do to stay moving and sweating. Yoga,
yeah, anything, right?
Do some yoga, stretching. That sucks.
Yeah, so I took my kids to North Carolina for that beast, but we split the road trip from Texas to North Carolina over the course of 3 days. And yeah, I would just wake up in the morning. My kids wake up super early too. And I'd be like, all right, I would just do like a 20-minute workout of like burpees and sit-ups, or I would do like 20 or 30 minutes of yoga just to start the day. Not the perfect situation, but it was something that I could get done, and it works, right?
Exactly. You do, you pick a goal, pick a number. I used to carry a deck of cards and just, flip through some cards and pick movements and do that. It doesn't take much. If you have to want to move, you have to want to sweat and work out, and you'll find a way. It's people that want to keep making excuses to not do anything, allow themselves to get, lethargic and not staying active.
Yeah. All right, Joe, you got anything?
No.
All right, then I will get to the last question of the show. What is the best advice you have for all the Garage Gym athletes out there listening?
Best advice is stick with it. Not every day is going to be a great day. Sometimes you just got to get in there and sweat. I usually find that after I do get in there and sweat, I feel better. You're not going to set PRs every time, but you will feel better. You will ultimately do better and continue being better. So just stick with it.
Awesome, man. Well, Ryan, I really appreciate you being here on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast, and appreciate you being a Garage Gym Athlete, man. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.